February 2011 was a cold and snowy night. In a modest family home, Joel Waldron, just 20 years old, spent the evening with his toddler son Teshawn, his mother Yvonne, siblings Jade and Jovan aka Buck GME, and a close family friend. Outside, the snow fell heavy, thick enough to muffle the sounds of a city that never sleeps. At around 9 p.m., Joel grabbed his coat and said 7 simple words. "I'm just going to get some juice." Joel, a young father, left his Scarborough home and stepped into the storm. But just moments later, the peaceful night would be shattered as he encountered Shamarie Wilson aka Sham Sham and Jordan Mendez aka Curlas, leading to gunfire. His brother and mother rushed outside to find Joel lying in the snow, shot twice in the back and once in the back of the head. Joel would speak to them only briefly before his vision began to fade to black, and he would soon pass from his injuries. The killers, Shamarie Wilson and Jordan Mendez, would flee the scene into a nearby house of an ex-girlfriend to stash the murder weapon in a recycling bin. They changed clothes, lied to police, but the trail of gunshot residue gave them away. Jordan Mendez had been in a youth detention center for an extended time until his release on February 18, 2011, and would now be back in custody only 8 days later, this time for murder. In 2013, both men were convicted of first-degree murder. After the verdict, as Curlas was being escorted out, he looked over to Joel's family members and winked at them. His smile unnaturally wide, eyes gleaming with something far darker than satisfaction, as if promising that their nightmare had only just begun. And as shocking as it may seem, the story didn't end there. A new trial was ordered in 2018. In court, Mendez confessed, "I pulled the trigger," he said, but claimed it was self-defense, provoked. Wilson, he said he was just there, no part in the violence. The jury believed them partially. On July 12, 2019, the jury found Jordan Mendez not guilty of second-degree murder, but guilty of the lesser-included offense of manslaughter.
Just got the manslaughter feeling terrific. He took a headshot, his fishbone shifted. Stat money for the gang and our children. Killer op, also part of the mission.
Shamarie Wilson was found not guilty. After over 12 years behind bars, Mendez faced sentencing. The Crown pushed for 16 years. The defense wanted time served. Jordan Mendez would be sentenced to 15 years less credit for pretrial custody of 12 years, 7.5 months. Going forward, that leaves a further term of 2 years, 4.5 months. Justice or a close call? In the world of street codes and silent wars, justice isn't handed out, it's taken. Word on the streets whispered that Joel's murder was retaliation for the murder of Vincent Wright, also known as Villain. January 7, 2010, Villain was gunned down outside a townhouse on Empringham Drive, bleeding out in a quiet parking lot as snowflakes landed on his jacket. The streets were tight-lipped, no arrests. But the whispers never stopped. They say it started over missing guns. Valuable. Dangerous. Gone. The alleged owner of those guns wasn't some low-level punk. He was known, connected, and furious. When his weapons vanished, he launched his own investigation. Word led him to Waldron, 50 Empringham Drive, where Villain had been chilling. The gun owner moved like a ghost through the backyard. Once inside the townhouse, rage exploded. Voices were raised. Tension snapped. One of the stolen firearms was returned, likely by Villain himself, maybe in an attempt to calm the storm. But it wasn't enough. That same gun was discharged, and Villain collapsed, shot by the very weapon he just returned. Villain was found near the parking lot, clinging to life. He didn't make it. The case went cold. No charges were laid, but the streets talked. They said Joel had pointed the gunman to Villain, and for that, some believed Joel was marked. 1 year later, Joel Waldron was dead, shot in the back and left to die in the snow, just steps from his front door. In this city's shadows, truth is a currency few can afford, and betrayal is paid for in blood. Was Joel's death revenge, or just another move in a deadly chess game no one wins?